back keep moving around. At this stage, I'd like to call a...
their views by walking onto the street and showing their...
In rugby league, when big wingers race for the try line, the crowd are usually on their feet. And my guest was once the greatest winger that Australia had, in my opinion. When he played for St George, he was a great winger for them also, and it's none other than Eddie Lumsden. How are you, Eddie?
Good, thanks, Noel.
Eddie, well, of course, you've had a long career in rugby league until you retired. Could you just quickly run through your rugby league career?
From the start, Noel?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I started with Curry, as you know. Then I went down to Manly, then came back to Curry in the 56 season. St George gave me a one-year contract to go down in 57. While I was there, well, they won the comp, so I stayed 10 years with them.
You played for Australia?
Played from Australia, from St George, had the tour to England and France, and also the tour to New Zealand.
Do you remember your try-scoring efforts in the test matches, by any chance?
Oh, about 3 or 4, I think it was. No, them days it was the old rule. To score a try in a test was very hard. You win by about 2 and 3 points at the most.
Yes, and I suppose your greatest memory is with the hard test matches more so than the hard club matches?
Well, I think the club matches in Sydney are just as hard as a test match, because in a test match it's you're marking man to man. But in Sydney, well, as you know, every game down there is tough football.
Yes, and of course St George in that period that you were with them had some great players. Ken Carney, who were some of them?
I think one part though we had, I think it was 10 or 11 test players in, and the rest were play for the state.
Yeah, well, you were in the period of Carney and
Proven, say Carney, Clay, Raper, Gaznia, Johnny Riley, Brian Graham was a fullback, Langlands, one more fullback. Also, you got the whole team. The forwards were all test players, I think. The whole thing, a lot of them.
Well, it was a great team, and of course you were a great winger with that team. Just bringing us up to date, Johnny Raper being in Newcastle now, in your opinion, one of the greatest locks Australia ever had?
Oh, we didn't say that. No, I think you'd be prejudiced or something, wouldn't you? I mean, he's playing for West, but I think Johnny was one of the best footballers I've ever seen in my life.
And now you're up here with the Boat Rowers Hotel at Stockton, and also coaching the north side. How are they going?
Well, no, we're going extra well. Put it that way. We've got no big players, and as you know, have no club behind us. But we've got Colin Ball, who's been in Newcastle for a few seasons. He's going extra well at fullback, and Alan Jones is the hooker. Up at the forwards, we've got Carl Hutchison and Dennis Nichols. I think two of the honest forwards in Newcastle, what I've seen in Newcastle. We tried young Alan Wasling as lock, and he's going a good cover defender, good tackler. We've got a few new blokes we're going to mould in the team if we can. One is from St George, he's up here in the army up here. One bloke from the air base, and one more chap from Peterson. Peterson, who went to England. Well, he's going to pick him or try him in the second row.
Ah, well, you've got the basis of a fair team. And what's your training methods, Eddie? Have you modelled yourself on perhaps what you've been taught at St George or anything like that?
Well, you'd have to, no, yeah. I maintain mainly we'd do half an hour of PT, then sprints.
Mm.
I mean, I think ball work, if any footballer can't handle a football, well, he shouldn't be on the football field.
Mm. What about the fundamentals of football? Do you feel that the players should be continually taught this, or should they know it?
Well, that's hard to say. Some players some players they know it, some players they don't know it.
Mm.
I mean, as you say, with training, well, it's very hard with some players. Some players do 2 laps and they're fit, and some got to do 10 laps to get fit.
Eddie, you were a big winger, and you had a lot of speed and, of course, a lot of weight behind you. But how did you maintain your speed?
Well, we mainly train down in there in sprints and spikes.
Mm.
I'd say we do about 20 to 30 sprints, say 15 to 20 yard sprints every night, just quick dashes. Like that in the spikes, it gives you a big, off the mark.
Yeah. Have you coached before coming to Newcastle?
Yeah, well, I was in a hotel, as you know, in Moree and Wollongong. I did the school kids down in Wollongong, won the comp with them, and coached under 17s in Moree. I was up there, went right through the competition undefeated with them. Though we tried these new rules we're trying down here, and the kids went all right up there.
Talking of new rules, because the 4-tackle rule wasn't in vogue when you were...
They tried 6 in Brisbane, and there's a lot of comments said it went extra well. Well, I think down here we should give it a go ourselves.
Well, that's a fair comment. I don't think that they'll come along and do it for a while yet, because I feel that coaches have got to learn to coach to the 4-tackle rule.
Oh, that's it. No, I mean, it's like a policeman. He runs the place, and the rules rules may be broken, but 4-tackle rules in it, we've got to overcome it.
Well, we wish Norths a great deal of success during the season, and I'm sure that their coach, Eddie Lumsden, will impart all the knowledge that he's possessed over the years.
Thanks very much, Dale. I hope this year it's the Blues to win.
Good.
Boys, how long had you been on the island?
Well, we went up there on the 26th.
And what were you doing there?
Well, Dad mainly went up for his holidays, fishing. So he went out fishing with another man, and we sort of just walked around the island, went fishing when we wanted, went skin diving.
It's quite a while since your dad's had a holiday.
Yes, yes, he usually works, usually 7 days a week, on his own accord.
And how did he come to go into Nelson Bay?
Well, we ran out of supplies. There was a fairly big wind up. Well, we're running low on supplies, and he had to go in and get some. And he left. It was all right. He got there all right, and just couldn't come back.
When did you find out that he was missing, Gordon?
Well, we thought he'd stay at home, so we live at Tea Gardens, and we thought he'd be home. And the people at Nelson's Bay and Tea Gardens thought he'd be on the island, and we didn't really worry. So there was a fairly big sea on.
You thought he'd been trapped in Nelson Bay by
Yes,
the bad
and
weather?
couldn't been able to come out, so we never started to worry till yesterday. It was fairly calm, and we started to worry a little bit. And Mr. Mills from Stockton.
This was the man looking after you on the island? Right?
No, he was living down 2-3 huts down, and he went out to his boat and rang Sydney, and they rang in Nelson's Bay to find out if he was there, and he wasn't at home, and he wasn't at Nelson's Bay. Usually he'd go to Noel O'Connell's, and then they started the alert, and they didn't know where he was.
And there's been no success with the search today, boys?
No.
The conferences held so far with the companies and the trade unions have not settled a dispute. The BHP has offered $3.50 of their bonus increase. This is not actually dealing with the 33 1/3% over the award payment as demanded by the unions. As a consequence, we are now reporting back to delegates meeting tomorrow and then the rank and file, which will take the form of a stoppage. This will be a recommendation to the trade unions, delegates tomorrow. Further, we will continue with discussions. This will be one of the proposals put up, and also we'll be reporting to the ACTU Disputes Committee of development so far. We believe that the union's demand for 33 1/3% over the award payment must be dealt with concretely and in a real way in a real conference dealing with this matter before the problem, the dispute is finally settled.
South Newcastle Rugby League team aren't doing all that well in the present competition. As a matter of fact, they're right at the bottom of the table, and there has been some wholesale changes in the team. Possibly the greatest change is the one of Peter Diamond from the centre spot, where we know him playing so well over the years, to the second row. And in this second row, I believe Peter will be a force to be reckoned with. He's tough, he's rugged, and he's a big man. And believe me, the rest of the forwards in other teams are going to know where Peter Diamond is. Whether it's a good move or not, it's hard to work out. Bickley and Miller, the two rugby union converts, have now gone onto the wings, and I feel that South Newcastle are lacking in their ability to let the players settle down in a particular position. But of course, the main interest will still be on Peter Diamond.
The man with the short singed hair and eyebrows is Les Ashbourne, manager of Dynamic Sounds, who was in the store when the fire began.
I would think roughly around about 11:25. I returned to the shop from a meeting of West End traders. I rang my employer on our landline between our two premises, and during our discussion on the phone I noticed or heard a pop from what appeared to come from our front window. Following this, I looked around and saw flames from the rear of the store, in my office actually, and sort of got the word to him urgently to get up here. We were on fire. It began in the rear of in the office section of the store. We think that it just spread so fast that it was virtually impossible. I did run to the rear of the store with a bucket of water and tried, but had to get out.
This is where the singe came from.
True. Well, that actually happened on the way out. But, my path was blocked by flames, and the only way to get out virtually was through them. So, hence the singe. I was very fortunate, so much as my Brian nylon shirt didn't go up with it too.
What happened, Mrs. Whittaker?
Well, one of our sales assistants sold a Venetian vase to this lady, and she wanted it packed in a box, so it was brought upstairs, and I helped with the packing, and I think my ring has gone in with the packing in the box.
What's the ring like?
It's a white gold diamond cluster. There's a centre stone, 12 small ones around and 3 shoulder stones on each side.
And you were telling me this has quite a deal of sentimental attachment.
Yes, it was my original engagement in an eternity ring. My husband died 5 years ago, and I had it remade so that I can eventually give it to my daughter, as a, you know, from her father.
And now you believe the ring has slipped off and fallen in this vase.
Yes, I'm afraid it was just a slight. With the cold weather, it's just a little bit big, and I think the paper packing has got caught round it, and as I pushed the straw in around it to pack it, it slipped off my finger. And that's the really, if the woman would only bring the parcel back or go through it herself, if she finds it, please return it or get into contact with us anyway. That's the main thing.